It's midday right here in Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics, where we'll bring you up to speed with the big happenings in politics and policy in Nigeria and around the world. Let's get started with the headlines. Kwara on the siege as again terrorists attack a Ruku community in the Keti local government area of Kwara State. Abducted farmer barely days after 38 abductees from an attack on a church were freed. And fiery cleric and former vice presidential candidate Pastor Bakare slams federal government and National Assembly for waiting on external government to trigger urgency over Nigeria's troubling insecurity. In the next half hour, I'll walk you through what's been happening in our country, whether it's the politics or the polity in general. And what we can tell you as a starter for the program is that the Ogun State Commissioner of Police, Ogun, has now confirmed the abduction of 6 real estate marketers of Lagos-based real estate firm at Oyebola village in Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State. He confirmed this in a telephone conversation in Abeokuta, the state capital. The police boss said the manhunt has been activated by officers and men of the command to ensure the victims regain their freedom unhurt, while perpetrators will be brought to justice. The police commissioner, while confirming the incident, says the command is on the case and will ensure that the victims, they regain their freedom. So that's the latest, the troubling, apparently festering insecurity challenges we've been facing is scaling, and this time it's happening in neighboring Ogun State, where 6 real estate marketers in the real estate companies based in Lagos were abducted in a Oyebola village in Obafemi Owode local government area of the state, that's of Ogun State. Now, tension has again returned to a Ruku community in Kwara State as terrorists abducted another resident barely a week after 38 kidnappers or kidnapper worshippers were released. According to the community leader, the gunmen, who were 4 in number and armed with AK-47 rifles and cutlasses, stormed the farmland on Eruku Koro Road. The assailant invaded the farm during a routine work hours and abducted one Anas Ansaru, a native of Eruku, before escaping into the bush. That's according to the source. So that's as far as the issue of this insecurity in our nation is concerned. And we'll keep talking about the concerns about national insecurity. The president has actually made a move to say we are in a state of crisis. So there's an insecurity emergency being declared by President Bola Tinubu, and we're hoping that pretty soon this will be over. But as we speak, this is a reality people are living with as far as our nation is concerned. But if we just move away for a moment, away from issues of national insecurity, leaders of Delta North, which includes lawmakers in the region, in the House of Representatives, as well as the chairman of the 9 local government areas in the region, have rejected a proposal to include the proposed Anioma state within the southeast region of Nigeria, insisting it remains in the South-South. In a statement signed by all the leaders and stakeholders, the group said they will continue to push for the creation of an Anioma state and strongly condemn any move to include a proposed state anywhere but the South-South. They insist that the placement is essential to preserve the culture and history of the region. So the agitation for a state is on one hand. On the other hand is whether or not the state will be cited in the southeast to make the southeast 6, just like every other region does, apart from the northwest, which is 7, or it's going to be added to the south-south, which will now make the south-south the 2nd largest in terms of number of states per geopolitical zone. So that is the argument within the interests that are pushing for the Anioma state. But in the meantime, the senior pastor Citadel Global Community Church, Pastor Tunde Bakare, has been asking questions and actually proffering solutions to the recent spike in kidnapping and banditry across Nigeria. Pastor Bakare, rather, who held the State of the Nation address in Lagos within the Citadel Church premises, acknowledges that the security issues precedes this administration and asks the government to urgently intervene.
It is a stain on the Nigerian government that it took the threat of external intervention to rouse leaders to their responsibilities. It's a shame on our National Assembly that it took the United States Congress, not the representatives elected by Nigerians, to convene a hearing on the lived experiences of citizens suffering under insecurity, while those in Abuja were busy with politicking, posturing for political relevance, defecting from one political party to another in their desperate maneuvers to secure their seats ahead of the 2027 elections. It's indeed a shame that Nigeria's foreign affairs architecture failed all the while to mobilize Nigeria's dwindling diplomatic goodwill to secure international support for the war on terror, only to respond with excuses when that goodwill reached its lowest ebb. Within this short-term period, the following additional objectives must be pursued under the leadership of the President and the relevant members of his team. Number one, acknowledge the responsibility of the Nigerian state. This will entail the President owning the failure of government over the decades to protect the victims and survivors of banditry, terrorism, and other forms of insecurity. Number two, given context to the declaration of emergency on security, it is commendable that barely 24 hours after a recommendation by former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, that the President should declare a nationwide security emergency, the President has acted swiftly in his own way. In the short term, measures must be taken to prevent further mass kidnappings. In addition to beefing up security, number three, maximizing paramilitary structures. It is a fact that we do not have enough boots on the ground to respond to the demands across the country. The President's efforts at mass recruitment into the police and armed forces are meant to address this deficit.
Well, quite unapologetic, Pastor Tunde Bakare. Let's bring you my guest. He's a member of the House of Representatives from Niger State. Mr. Joshua Gana joins us in our Abuja studio. Mr. Gana, thank you so much for coming on the program. I doubt if I can hear you.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Oh, fantastic. I can hear you now. Fantastic. And I know we're in a particular mood right now. The nation is literally almost in mourning, but we must say happy birthday to your dad. Since you're here, he turned 80, I think yesterday, right?
Yes, thank you very much. He turned 80 yesterday.
That's for Professor Jerry Gana. All right, so let's build on. I know two issues I would like you to address. One has to do with this ambassadorial nomination list that is causing controversy. But before we get to that, let's talk about insecurity. And your state is one of the states that has been the biggest victim of this. And I think the last time we had a number in Papri, over 300 children, what we understand, although we don't have an official number from the state government. I've been searching. I don't think I have that number. I think we have that number from CAN. So I don't know whether the Niger state government has a figure put to the number of persons that were abducted in our school. If you know, you may let us know. I don't even know whether the governor has visited. But what we know is that people were abducted. The numbers that has been reeled out by CAN is 300. Those that we're not sure, the word that was used, that they escaped, children escaping from terrorists. It's an interesting narrative. Well, we had about 50 children released or escaped. And so we have those numbers added to the one that happened in Kebbi and then the one that happened in Kwara. What do you make of what is playing out as far as our national security is concerned? For instance, Pastor Tunde Bakare, didn't hold back his word in criticizing those of you in the National Assembly that he needed to sit and wait for an external assembly to do your work before you sat up.
Well, thank you very much. It's very sad to have such happenings in Niger State. But I'd like to say the governor returned immediately to attend to the security issues in the state. Niger State has been having various pockets of attacks in the last 2 years. And it's just that very unfortunate that this time this happened in that constituency. And it's a national challenge with the security problem we're having in Nigeria. But I'd like to say in response to what you mentioned, there are very serious people in National Assembly. Many of us just came from the private sector. Many of us came
Honorable,
also
my
by
apologies.
calling.
If you can hear me, Honorable, my sincere apologies. We'll come back to you in just a moment. I must apologize, please. But on our DSTV platform, we'll be going live to the nation's capital for our live coverage. But we'll continue the program on all other platforms that we have. We have multiplicity of platforms, but this is only on DSTV. The centenary celebration of the aviation industry in Nigeria, 100 years of aviation industry in Nigeria, which is taking place at the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center in Abuja as we speak. So we'll go live there, but we'll continue the program right here on other platforms. Honorable, please go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, so thank you. Like I was referring to the words mentioned by National Assembly, many of us just came in from the private sector to add value in the National Assembly and were elected by our people. And there are different committees that in our proceedings, it had been referred to the committees that have to do with security and to engage with the security agencies at their leadership to see what could be done differently, what could be done better. Many will remember in the past speeches of great Nigerians, and for instance, the speech at one of the graduation ceremonies of a former Minister of Defense and former Chief of Army Staff, General T.Y. Danjuma, who had said that the military was colluding in the affairs of security standards that he knew while he was in service. And so, when we see the reputation today, our military in the past went to other nations where they didn't even hear the local dialect and brought and restored order into those nations, finished their job and ensured a new government was in place, chosen by their people, and returned back to Nigeria gallantly. And now, within our borders, we have people who we know, the dialects can even be heard because they're using local languages, but yet we are unable to curb the security attacks on our people. So I want to say that I think I agree with General T.Y. Danjuma's comment in that convocation ceremony some years ago that the military is colluding. But I have a background in the military. I went to a military school. I have my classmates who are brigadier generals now. And I know there's none of them that I've sat with that are not very serious professional soldiers. And whenever they go to the field, they do what a soldier should be done. So the question is, where is there a gap in communication? Where is there a gap in doing things? And I'll say, I think some of the communities where these things happen, the communities accept these people initially because they come with good things to entice the people. But then when they want to carry out their mayhem, they're already part of the community, because to carry that number of children, I mean, children that school buses even pick to go to school, the drivers and the helpers will tell you how hard it is to even pick up 10 or 20 children. Then to calculate that total number shows that some familiar faces must have been amongst them. They felt these are people, maybe members of the church or members of the community, and their children are allowed to go into a vehicle. And of course, because it's a known face, they go into it only to hear that they are part of a terrorist group that has abducted people's children. So these are the problems. Even if the military is not colluding or doesn't have the right information, the communities, because of enticement, have accepted those people, not knowing that these are foreigners that might turn tomorrow. And when they do turn, they are people who they have taken things from before and do not know how to point a finger that this is the person who participated in such a crime. We need local intelligence from our people. If security must be well kept, they should tell us, foreigners living in their midst, that they don't understand their sources of income and why their philanthropy to their communities are so welcoming and all that. And don't just accept them into your communities. Why are you here at this time? A grown, fully grown man or fully grown woman coming, and nobody is their cousin, nobody is their relative, nobody invited them. The local councillor there, the chairman or the hakimi or the imam or pastor of that village cannot say, let's ask more questions. Why are you coming to rent a place in our place? Why are you coming to stay here? What is this that you do? Where are you from? And if those information reaches the departments of our local DSS officers, our community security agencies, they'll take note. And if something happens, they know the first place to go and effect arrest, because the communities are living in peace with themselves. So we want to plead with Nigerians. There are many people I know in national have come. Their CVs are even better than I. That serious-minded people who have come to effect change. But change doesn't come overnight. We'll just have to keep helping ourselves. The way people have elected us is the way people should inform us that these are the local changes we're seeing in our communities, and they're not comfortable. And then with that immediate information, we can send intelligence officers into those communities to go and get more facts. And if we have to effect arrests on time, we will do so before these people carry out their planned activities.
All right, Honorable, well said. The entire point now is that Nigeria has to rise. And those of you in the National Assembly who have the responsibility of putting fire to the feet of the executive need to do your best to make sure that happens, because it was quite interesting to see what the subcommittee of the Congress was doing on our local issue. It was quite engaging and provoking to see how that was playing out, how they understood the issue, and showing a lot of passion, although you can debate over their long-term interests. But let's move away from that to why I invited you, and that has to do with these nominees, ambassadorial nominees. Eventually, after almost 3 years, President Tinubu has exercised his powers as provided in Section 171 of the Nigerian Constitution as amended 1999. When you saw the list, as somebody in the opposition, what hit you? Were you impressed? Were you satisfied? Are you curious? Are you worried? Or you don't just care?
Well, twofold. Number one, because of the composition, there are professional career nominees on that list who have practiced all their career life, foreign diplomacy, and have gone for different postings and have grown through the ranks to achieve becoming ambassadors. So in that light, of course, in your career line, you want to achieve the height of what you have been trained over the years in our foreign affairs community. These people who are career diplomats have to achieve that level. So for those that have attained that level, we're very happy that they can go, having had all the experience over the years, to go and represent Nigeria. On the other hand, there are political nominees. And when you see the composition of the political nominees, you wonder why it had to take this long. 3 years of an administration only to decide to now bring these politicians or people from the political side to be nominated as ambassadors of our nation to foreign countries. Now, I don't want to jump the gun. That list will only go before the Senate, and we believe our colleagues in the Red Chamber will do justice to it. Our expectation is that all their committees and the joint sitting where these nominees will be presented, we will engage Nigerians by engaging these nominees to see if they are deemed fit to have to manage our foreign policy, to manage foreign diplomacy with other nations in our Committee of Nations now. But why now? So the problem is the timing. When you see that list, I'm a politician, so I will not speak to any specific person on that list, but Nigerians can read the tempo of the political list. It's just a year preceding the year we're going to go into elections. You are now giving these kind of politicians these positions to go and represent Nigeria abroad. So it looks like a settlement that, I'm now coming back into an election year, I must get re-elected. Who hasn't been sorted out, bring all of them and let's settle them so that each state is happy with me that there was a nominee for ambassadorial appointment. And so that worries a lot of us in the opposition. Does it have to take that long? Must everything be politics that you only appoint these people when you are coming into an election year in 2026 for general elections in 2027? I think that is unfair, even to those that are the nominees, to his own party, and then to Nigerians. It shouldn't have waited this long. Nigerians were waiting for a wow list, is a list that will say, haven't waited this long, he chose these people. The man has studied people over time and he has brought a list that Nigerians are over-impressed. But yeah, the immediate past INEC chairman, you are nominating to become an ambassador. It looks like I'm settling you for making sure I got elected as president. So these are the narratives that we must properly manage. That is the sentiment Nigerians will read. So it's wrong, even if you have to give him something else to proceed after being the chairman of INEC, it shouldn't be at the time that is preceding an electoral year. You can do that after your elections, and that's not a problem. But now you have done this, he did well, as the one that was chairman when you got elected, you are now settling him. And then you see some, when you see the political names, you know that, it's a camp they're trying to either reinvite, having forgotten them for so long, or they are trying to settle so that those people will be committed to the next electoral round. So with the amount of people moving from the opposition parties or the smaller parties to the ruling party, it's giving us a lot of discomfort, some of the political nominee names that we have seen. So we trust that the Red Chamber will do very well.
Yes,
in bringing justice to that.
I'll put you on the spot. I know you're avoiding the spot, but you're a politician, so you shouldn't be worried about being on the spot. You know, this is not the first time we're seeing this. I remember it took us 6 months for former President Muhammadu Buhari, God rest his soul, to give us ministers. And when we saw some of the names, we're like, okay, so was this what we waited 6 months to get to achieve? And then I remember vividly, towards I think it was the second term, after there was a hue and cry about the performance of the then service chief, including Tuko Burutai, who was engaged in some alleged incident that involved the death of about 300 persons, allegedly some Shiite and all of that. He got an ambassadorial nomination. I think it was posted to Benin or Niger. In fact, literally all of the service chiefs that were feeling like failed, as at that time, they've overstayed their welcome, were given an ambassadorial nomination. So there are names that have been listed out, and I just want to ask you straight and forward, if you were in the Senate, are you going to say yes to these names? The names that Nigerians are squirming over: Jimo Ibrahim, Senator; Reno Mokri, former aide to the former president; Mahmoud Yakubu Youth, which was mentioned; Okezekbeazu of Abia State, Ifeanyi Ogwuanyi and Fani Kayode, if you were sitting in the chambers, the rare chambers of the nationalists of the Senate, would you okay these ones to go? Honorable?
Thank you for putting me on the spot, and I will try to answer because... Can you hear me? I will try to answer within the confines that tomorrow, me being a politician, might be nominated to represent Nigeria abroad, given our foreign policy. But I thank you for referring back to the pattern that we have seen from the late Muhammadu Buhari regime to the current Bola Ahmed Tinubu regime. This pattern only came to Nigeria in the APC. You couldn't see this kind of pattern of making choices of credible people when PDP was in leadership. So I want to believe that Nigerians are watching and they know the best thing to solve this pattern for being sustained is to bring back a credible party into leadership, People's Democratic Party. And I'm not campaigning here. The truth and the data is out there for Nigerians to compare, to contrast, and to see the patterns. So for us, it's simple. And if I was sitting in that hall, of course, just like you said about the former service chiefs that became ambassadors, now we have seen a second pattern. It's an APC pattern, and of course, that pattern is not working. Nigerians do not welcome it, and they don't want it. We're not here because we wish to be here. We're here because Nigerians elected us and gave us the opportunity to come and serve them and represent them. And so we also must be conscious of that and be careful with the kind of things we okay for
Honorable, we're totally out of time. We're totally out of time. My apologies.
Remember, there was a group of governors.
My apologies. We're totally out of time, Honorable. But I don't know whether you answered, whether you vote a yes for them to be confirmed or not. Did you? In case I missed it.
Oh, if you missed it, I'll not allow them pass. A lot of them, some of them will pass, but I will not as an opposition party. Honestly, I will not allow some of those people to go forward. Okay. But, I mean, there are politicians like I, and I wish them well before the red chamber. But I wish some of them were coming before the green chamber would have done justice to it properly. Thank you.
I must thank you. I must thank you. Honorable Joshua Gana is a member representing Lavo Mokwa Edati Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives. Is from Niger State. Thank you, Honorable. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Fantastic.
Cheers.
Just before we go, I can tell you that Northern governors are meeting, traditional rulers, heads of security agencies. They are meeting in Kaduna State. The meeting was supposed to have held, I think, last week. But for whatever reason, I think the Northwest block of the Northern governors did not come for that. Or I don't know what happened, but they did not meet. But you can see those pictures coming in from Kaduna State. So that meeting is expected to hold. Remember, the Southern governors met in Abeokuta in Ogun State, neighboring Ogun State here. So we will get the outcome of this meeting and know their position, especially with the surge in insecurity, especially in the northern part of the country. But must thank you for your time and company. Our job is to bring you up to speed with what's happening in our country at midday. I'm Jeffrey Uzanga. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.